What if Order 65 was enacted against Palpatine? Let's explore the depths of it in this video. Palpatine watches the clone troopers gathering outside the Senate building. Ostensibly, they were there to protect him from the battle above, but Palpatine feels a subtle tension in the Force as the clones' loyalties, normally ironclad, seem to shift. Little did he know that Order 65 had been enacted. Shaak Ti, his Jedi bodyguard, frowned and asked if he was okay.
Yes, quite fine. I'm just trying to clear my head. This destruction is like nothing I've ever seen.
Shaak Ti nods before the windows burst open and a massive hooded figure leaps inside. The Jedi ignites her lightsaber and prepares to defend herself, but the clone troopers around her do something unexpected. They salute. Their leader, Commander Fox, steps forward.
General, we have the traitor in custody, and are here to escort you to your ship.
What is the meaning of this?
Suddenly, a robotic hand snaps forward and seizes his throat. A rare moment of fear fills his body as he realizes the Jedi are not responsible for this.
We've received orders that Chancellor Palpatine is a traitor to the Republic, and we're to turn him over to General Grievous.
The Jedi hardly believes what she's hearing. These orders were madness, and attempts to protest.
General, we were given orders to deal with anyone else in the room, including you. If you do not come quietly, we will be forced to execute you.
Choose wisely, Master Jedi.
As Shaak Ti watches the clones, their movements seem more robotic, as if they're not fully aware of what's happening, matching the behavior of clone trooper Tup when his inhibitor chip malfunctioned. She had not been able to investigate the matter further, but if there was more to this story, it would do no good if she got herself killed. Reluctantly, she agrees to cooperate, much to Grievous's disappointment. Palpatine, meanwhile, is fuming. Part of him wants to resist and slaughter everyone in the room, but he doesn't have his lightsabers, and even if he did, he would need to fight through the entire building, and there was little chance he could do that without being exposed. Such a situation is dangerous, and he must be cautious if he will survive. He has no choice but to allow Grievous to sling him over his shoulder like a sack of flour. As promised, the droid general encounters no resistance from the clone guards. A gunship waits for them on the landing pad and takes them to the invisible hand. Before they board, a shot rings out as Commander Fox fires a single stun round, knocking out Palpatine. The next time Palpatine wakes up, he finds himself on the bridge of the invisible hand, bound hand and foot. He's looking at Count Dooku through a red visor as he's trapped in a Mandalorian sarcophagus. Even without the Force, he can see the revulsion in his apprentice's expression.
Do you like it? There are few of these devices left, and I ensured that Pre Vizsla provided me one before we parted ways. I've thought a lot about our conversations before I joined you.
As master and apprentice look at each other, rage radiating off their bodies, Dooku takes that as a confirmation to continue.
You once said that you will never trust me, but that you shall ask more of me because all we do is done in service of our greater cause. I now realize that our causes were never alike, and if this war were to end, it would only end with one of us surviving. I intend that to be me.
At that moment, the doors slide open as Anakin and Obi-Wan step inside.
Right on schedule, Master Kenobi, and young Skywalker. Have you been acquainted with Lord Sidious?
That name meant nothing to Anakin, who powers up his lightsaber. But Obi-Wan hesitates for a second. He recognizes that name, the one Dooku mentioned on Geonosis.
Do you expect me to believe Chancellor Palpatine is a Sith Lord?
I expect you to believe nothing. I have countless recordings, data files, and secret commands I would gladly show to you.
You must be more desperate than I thought. Unsurprising given how well this battle is going for you. Now release the Chancellor and the Council might be merciful.
Young Skywalker, you're in no position to make demands.
The Sith Lord snaps his fingers and Grievous steps forward, holding a pair of lightsabers to Shaak Ti's throat. The two Jedi step closer, Obi-Wan drawing his lightsaber. Dooku seems unimpressed.
How noble of you, Master Shaak Ti. Know that she is not the only Jedi that I keep hostage. As I said, there are countless secret commands planted in your clone's inhibitor chips. One was in order to arrest the Chancellor should he be deemed unfit for duty. Don't think those were the only commands Palpatine had placed. He also had others involving the Jedi. Would you like to see it?
You're bluffing. The Count says nothing, but his hand hovers over his comlink. As his eyes lock with Obi-Wan, he can see the determination in his eyes. Slowly, he places a hand on Anakin's wrist.
No, he isn't. I'm willing to lay my life for this mission, but are you prepared to gamble with the lives of everyone else?
With one final hateful stare, Anakin drops his lightsaber as Dooku begins to transmit his message across the holonet.
Greetings, citizens of Coruscant. You all know me as Count Dooku, leader of the CIS. However, sole credit doesn't belong to me, as the architect behind that organization is Chancellor Palpatine. As we speak, I am releasing all of our correspondence together. I do this to expose the corruption of this republic. My goal is to reshape this, and as a gesture of goodwill, I shall order most of my fleet to withdraw. However, I will only do that once the Republic commanders agree to a ceasefire and allow the Invisible Hand to land on Coruscant.
The full extent of the Chancellor's treachery sends the Republic into chaos. For the Jedi, this was a slap in the face at a Sith Lord managing to slip through their fingers. The Senate was equally as stunned, as even with emergency powers granted to him, Palpatine had still grossly overstepped his authority. However, Dooku was still a traitor, and some wanted to fight. But as the reports of the clone's inhibitor chips also appeared, it becomes clear that he holds all the cards. The decision was made to allow the Invisible Hand to land on the surface, and Dooku made his way to the Senate building. There, he declared the Clone Wars to be over. He first strips Palpatine of all powers and declares himself as acting Chancellor in the interim government. He then allows the CIS worlds to secede, but with the condition that they must relinquish control of the droid army. Many CIS leaders like Newt Gunray are displeased, but with Dooku in control of the Senate and clones, and as many of their worlds are currently being invaded, they have no choice. Lastly, there is the Jedi. Dooku immediately forces the Jedi Order to disband, with many Jedi, including council members, becoming his hostages. However, he does retain a few disillusioned members as part of a new group. In this single motion, Dooku has now obtained control over the Republic, though his position is far from secure. General Grievous is furious at his decision not to kill all the Jedi, but does not openly defy him yet. Anakin is also enraged by everything Dooku has done to him and is among the prisoners taken. As he learns everything, he sees that the Chancellor is responsible for horrific things, but that hardly justifies the actions of Dooku. With each passing day, Anakin feels his anger growing. As Anakin sits in his cell in Coruscant's prison, he hears a commotion outside as the guards fire their weapons. As his door flies open, General Grievous steps inside and extends his hand.
It appears we share a common foe, Skywalker.
Grievous? What are you doing? You're helping me escape?
I know you hate Dooku almost as much as me. That is why I am coming here with an offer. Help me destroy him.
Fine. Let's just get the rest of the Jedi in.
No. Make no mistake. I am asking your help only because I need it. But the rest of the Jedi can rot in their cells until I deal with them.
You'd have me betray my order.
I offer you revenge, but your failing order is not worth that price. I can surely find another cell to throw you in.
Anakin growls and brushes past him. Grievous hands Anakin a spare lightsaber as they leave the prison. Outside, there is a third conspirator, Asajj Ventress. Palpatine is being held in the Jedi Temple and is guarded by Dooku's most trusted fighters. The trio stays hidden in the shadows, keeping to dark alleys and empty streets as they enter a starship. Anakin manages to sneak them past a few Jedi guards by using a secret entrance. When they reach the detention level, they find Palpatine still trapped in his sarcophagus and free him. As they run, Palpatine flashes a smile.
Ah, Anakin, my boy. I knew you would save me.
Save it, Sith Lord. I'm not interested in you. I'm just here to kill Dooku.
Very well. General, what is the status of the Separatists?
There is much grumbling within the CIS Council. Your return and my defection might induce them to rise against the Count.
Very good. Then we must make for the Outer Rim at once.
Suddenly, a figure descends from the rafters of the main hall. Count Dooku smiles and ignites his lightsaber.
You will go nowhere, my master. And as for you, Grievous, I suspected treachery from you. I've been betrayed once already. I will not be deceived a second time.
You expect to stop us all?
Not everyone is as blinded as you, Skywalker.
Suddenly, a dozen more fighters join Dooku. Among them are Darth Maul, Barriss Offee, Shaak Ti, and to Anakin's shock, Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan? What are you doing with these criminals?
I could ask you the same thing, Anakin.
You can't possibly believe in Dooku's cause.
I believe it as much as you believe in Grievous. I made a mistake not listening on Geonosis. I will not make it again.
Enough! Let this be finished.
His four blades begin spinning as he rushes towards Obi-Wan, only to be cut off by a force push by Maul.
No one kills Kenobi but me, Cyborg.
As Shaak Ti and Barriss rush to assist Maul, the latter receives a kick from Ventress. Obi-Wan charges the unarmed Palpatine, while Dooku points his lightsaber at Anakin.
Shall we begin?
Two loyalist Jedi attempt to stop Anakin, but are quickly cut down. The two raise their blades and rush at each other, sending sparks flashing. Each time their weapons meet, a surge of power courses through the room, guided by their anger. For Anakin, it's his rage against Dooku as the man who took his arm and started this war, and turned his best friend against him. Fury radiates off Dooku as he recalls the things he's done in his master's name. Memories of the friends he's betrayed and the lives he's taken come crashing back. Neither one gives any ground as around them, fights between former friends and old enemies duel. Shaak Ti is the first to fall, but not before Maul and the loyalist Jedi sever Grievous's lower arms and shove him aside. Ventress manages to cut down Barriss, and as she falls, Palpatine uses the Force to snatch up her lightsaber and parries Obi-Wan's attacks. At first, Obi-Wan has the advantage, but now armed, the balance shifts in Palpatine's favor. Obi-Wan is forced on the defensive as Palpatine unleashes a barrage of attacks that the Jedi Master can't possibly counter. Dooku uses this moment to unleash a burst of Force lightning that throws Anakin back. At the same time, Palpatine laughs as his sword comes down and strikes Obi-Wan across the chest. The Jedi Master can only gasp before he collapses to the ground.
No!
With a rush of power, Anakin shoves Dooku back, pushing him against one of the walls until it begins to crack, and then he rushes towards his friend. Obi-Wan looks up at Anakin and coughs.
Anakin, the dark side. It's not you. Don't let it control you.
As Obi-Wan's body slumps forward, Anakin takes his lightsaber and rushes at Palpatine with two swords in hand. His laughter turns to surprise as Anakin attacks him. He's soon joined by Dooku, who manages to recover his senses, and Maul, who's just finished off Grievous. Against all three, Palpatine begins to falter.
Anakin, you fool! What are you doing?
I told you, Chancellor. I didn't do this for you. With a downward slash, Anakin takes Palpatine's hand, while Maul and Dooku plunge their sabers into his chest. Anakin looks around and sees that Ventress has fled after killing the last loyalist Jedi, and drops to his knees. Make it quick then. To his surprise, he feels a hand on his shoulder.
You've nearly fallen to the dark side. Take caution. It can lead you down a dark path, one that may cost you everything.
Anakin looks up at Dooku, and then at the body of Obi-Wan. It already did.
Not your legacy. You are the one meant to bring balance to the Force. You can still do that. Join me, and we can fix what Palpatine has broken.
Anakin looks at the outstretched hand and takes it. With Anakin's support, Dooku's position is greatly strengthened, and he is eventually elected Chancellor. Together, the two eventually release the captured Jedi, including some who rejoin Dooku's reformed order. Those who don't are allowed to leave. Anakin takes charge of the rebuilding process in the Outer Rim, while Maul uses his criminal connections to begin removing the influence of the CIS Council. Dooku, meanwhile, uses the Jedi to begin purging the Senate ranks of corruption. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.